Hello, everyone. My name is Dave Peterson, and for those who don't know me, I'm a member of the Board of Selectmen. The purpose here today is to educate the voters in regards to the upcoming Monday, May 2nd town meeting and the Tuesday, May 10th town election regarding the town's request for approval and funding for two building facilities. The Pine Grove School feasibility study for renovations of that school, and secondly, the construction of an addition with renovations for the police station on Haverhill Street and construction beside it of a new fire station to replace the current one on Hammond Street. The panel members this morning who are going to speak include Joe Perry, selectman, member of the school building committee for Pine Grove. Next to him is Christine Nealon. She's the principal of the Pine Grove School. Next to her, is the interim police chief, Jim Mulligan, who's been working with us now for the last three and a half months. Next to him is Chief Jim Broder from the Raleigh Fire Department. And the final speaker is Greg Carell, representing the Carell Group, who's the architectural firm for the police and fire station project, and the picture of that is standing beside me. Each person will spend a few minutes talking about their buildings and their shortcomings and justifying the needs for their proposed projects. I would like to start off very quickly and read the articles for town meeting. The town meeting, as I said before, is May 2nd, and the Article 17, which will be for the school, reads, to see if the town will vote to appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds the sum of $800,000 or any other amount to be expended under the direction of the school committee to pay costs of a feasibility study related to the Pine Grove School located in Raleigh, Massachusetts. The MSB grant program is a non-entitlement discretionary program based on needs as determined by the MSBA, which is the Massachusetts School Building Association. And any cost the town incurs in connection with the facility will be reimbursed at a rate of somewhere around approximately 48%. The passage of this article for the $800,000 will be contingent upon a passage of a debt exclusion override question. Will be on the May 10th ballot. The second question we have is Article 18, which will be for the police fire station facility. And that article reads, to see if the town will appropriate $11,700,000 to be expended by the Board of Selectmen to pay costs of constructing an addition to the police station and constructing a new fire station, and for the payment of all costs incurred as a result. This article, if it passes a town meeting, will also require a passage of the ballot question number 2 at the annual town meeting. It's a two-step process. To get either one of these or both of these facilities in the pipeline, we need to pass both articles at town meeting as well as the ballot questions. With that said, I'll turn it over to Joe Perry, who will briefly talk about the school building process.
Thank you, Dave. The school process started last year. The Triton Regional School District filed with the MSBA, Mass State Building Authority, for a grant to renovate the Pine Grove School. We were one of 91 communities in the state of Massachusetts to file for this grant. The other towns were looking to either build a brand new school or to renovate their school buildings. Of those 91 communities, only 15 were selected by the state, and Raleigh was one of those 15. We were selected, and we will be reimbursed by the state at a rate, as David said, of just over 48%. So that $800,000 request that we're putting on the ballot is the total amount that we hope to spend a little less than, and that the state will reimburse us for 48% or a little under $400,000. It's very important that we take advantage of this state grant. They will not renew it unless we take advantage at this time. If we do complete the feasibility study, then we will actually talk about renovating the Pine Grove School and what that cost will be. And again, the state will reimburse us for 48.47%.
Thank you, Joe. And just as a way of so people understand what the costs are in relation to the school project, it's going to be, if it passes, we're going to be borrowing up to $800,000, depending on what the bids come in for the feasibility study cost. The state will be reimbursing us 48% of that. To the taxpayers, it's going to be something maybe $25 or less per year initially, because the treasurer will be doing short-term borrowing, and ultimately, if the project goes forward, all those costs associated with the feasibility study will be rolled into the final loan. So it's a small cost to this project in the beginning, and it will not even come into effect until probably FY18 before we, other than the short-term borrowing, will not take effect till probably the FY18. So with that, I'll introduce Christine Nealon. She's the principal of the Pine Grove Elementary School, to discuss their building.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Hello, my name is Christine Nealon, and I'm the principal of Pine Grove School. I've been serving as the principal for the past 7 years. I'm here today to talk with you and share thoughts and ideas and details about the extreme importance as to why Pine Grove School must move forward with the building renovation. Pine Grove School current student enrollment is approximately 500 students serving pre-K through grade 6. The original structure of Pine Grove School was constructed in 1954 with some other minor renovations over the years, with the last renovation taking place in 1988, which was 28 years ago. Since Pine Grove School was built in the 1950s, it does have some impressive architectural character and continues to be the heart of the town of Rowley. It is structurally sound and can accommodate new systems while still remaining with a structure that fits nicely within the historic district of town. However, Pine Grove School is encumbered by a number of deficiencies and limitations. These present a range of significance. Some of the issues represent safety risks, others represent functional limitations, and others are more annoyances that are symptomatic of an aging and out-of-date structure. In the coming years, many of the building's shortcomings will become more glaring and more debilitating. I'd like to speak with you about bringing a school into the 21st century. In 21st century schools, changing teaching methods and educational practices require radically different types and sizes of teaching spaces. An example is common spaces where several classes of students can meet at the same time to work together to create large projects or participate in interdisciplinary learning. School classroom and design should accommodate diverse learning needs. Space should be designed in anticipation of evolving learning needs as both populations and the anticipation of the curricular needs change over time. Flexible learning spaces will allow for interactions and collaborative work, which are fundamental to the development of 21st century skills. These skills include communication, teamwork, leadership, and interpersonal skills. Our modern curriculum also requires much greater access to infrastructure such as power, data, plumbing, and mechanical systems than is available at Pine Grove School. Pine Grove School has also become a center of community activities for the town of Rowley, which requires specialized spaces as well. I would now like to share with you several school facility systems that require repair or replacement to provide you with a better understanding of why it is important that we have a renovation. Pine Grove School has a number of electrical deficiencies. Very little material improvement can be undertaken as branch circuit panels are fully populated, preventing the installation of more circuits to alleviate overloading. It is just symptomatic of the overall aging of the structure. Electrical systems designed two decades ago are inadequate for today's technology. Older classrooms have extension cords and a variety of other cables snaking around the sides of the room and up and down walls to accommodate an abundance of projectors and teaching technology. Most teaching spaces today include a computer for the teacher and, in some classrooms, 2 workstations for students, Chromebook carts, smart boards, video projectors, and enhanced sound systems. All of these devices require more power and more cable. The use of wireless technology does eliminate some of the visible wiring, but it does not completely eliminate the significant increase in the electrical needs of a modern school. There is currently no backup source generator, and lighting systems are outdated and insufficient and do not have occupancy sensors to increase efficiencies in usage. Significant sections of the Pine Grove School roof have been breached over the last several years. Several thousand square feet routinely suffer from significant water penetration during periods of active precipitation or when residual precipitation is present. This infiltration leads to obvious deterioration in the building, is harmful to the inside, and disrupts the teachers and students who must contend with various collection buckets and barrels throughout the corridors and in some cases the classrooms. The heating plant at Pine Grove School includes 2 boilers. Both are 28 years old, dating back to the 1988 improvements. The boilers have been becoming increasingly unreliable. On a number of occasions each year, the boilers cease functioning overnight. When staff arrive at the school the following morning, temperatures have unsurprisingly plunged, and service calls must be made to the vendor. These repairs typically cost a couple of $1,000s, and since January 2015 to present, 8 service calls have been made. This does not include a significant amount of service calls to repair broken univents and motors in the heating systems in several classrooms throughout the building. This escalating operating expenditure, together with the challenges of an unreliable heating plant, especially considering the age of the units, demands replacement. It is not uncommon to find teachers and students in one wing of the building wearing their jackets to then walk into another wing of the building to find students and teachers overheating. All of the plumbing fixtures and piping are dated to the construction renovation dates. In the lavatories, partitions are weakened and worn and are showing signs of corrosion and despair. We also contend with leaky pipes. Most of the appliances in the kitchen are original to 1954, with the exception of the dishwasher and the steamer. Both the walk-in freezer and the refrigerator require calls for service repairs on an average of 2 to 3 times per month. The PGS kitchen, when originally constructed, was for a school of approximately 250 students. It is quite small given that it serves food to approximately 70% of the overall student population on a daily basis. The fire protection sprinkler system in the building is very inadequate, providing coverage and protection to less than 5% of the area within the building. The fire alarm panel and the detectors are very much outdated technology. I'd like to say in summary, there is a significant benefit to renovating Pine Grove School. Pine Grove School is in a prominent location in the town of Rowley. A renovation will help keep with Rowley's commitment to our community, our traditions, and our history. Most mechanical systems with regular maintenance have an average life of 20 to 30 years. Upgraded systems can provide economic benefits, and today's mechanical systems come with sophisticated controls, are more dependable, and are highly energy efficient. New building systems will reduce maintenance and operational costs, as well as providing an environment that is safe for our students, our staff, our community members, and our visitors. This facility has a special place in my heart. My husband attended Pine Grove School over 40 years ago, and our 3 children attended Pine Grove School as well. Finally, this building has served our community proudly for more than 6 decades. But due to the advancing pace of education and the imperative need for a structural renovation, I must urge that this project move forward to ensure that our students receive a dynamic education. A renovated building that supports 21st century learning will ensure that Pine Grove School remains the core of the Rowley community for several decades to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. And I just want to emphasize when she discussed these various systems, roof repairs, et cetera, that if in fact we do not get the override and we do not get the facility renovation process going, that in the coming next few years, Raleigh will be required to replace the roof, required to do all kinds of electrical work, and we will pay 100% of those costs rather than the 50% because of the reimbursement from the state. So keep that in mind, that we really need to do this project. The state has a limited amount of time they'll allow us to get this passed, and if we don't get it passed, they take their money back, and we go to the bottom of the barrel, and the cost will be on us from there on in. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce our interim police chief, Jim Mulligan. He's been with us for the last 3.5 months. We're losing him in the middle of April. He's moving on as we got a new police chief appointed, Scott Dumas, who will be coming on within the next week or so. So, Chief, I want to thank you for the work that you've done in the 3.5 months you've been here. It's been very impressive. We're happy that you have worked with us, and we work with you. And Jim's going to just present a brief discussion about the police station needs, and he can do it as an outsider who come in and got thrown into the situation up there with it. It needs a lot of work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Thank you for the kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, I am an outsider. My name is Jim Mulligan. I've been a police officer for about 42 years, and in that time I've had the opportunity to work in many police facilities. And I would ask you, if you can, to go to our website and go to our Raleigh Community Media and take a hard look at the virtual tour that was put on by Lieutenant Stephen May. He shows you many of the shortcomings that we're dealing with in the Raleigh Police Department facility. The facility was built in 1986, the primary facility, and since that time they've added on trailers. And I guess my focus is the conditions of the building on a day-to-day basis. During this winter, which wasn't a harsh winter, I've seen leaks leaking into the offices. We have a rodent problem. We have a rodent problem that is really extensive. Just last week, one of our dispatchers complained that she could smell something like a rotting body, and it turned out that it was a dead rodent that was in the ceiling near the dispatch area. When we called the exterminators went up there, and they found several nests of rodents that are up there. Now, you know, this is a significant issue because we're not only talking about the health to the men and women who work at the Raleigh Police Department, we're also talking about the visitors to the Raleigh Police Department. So we're cleaning those up on a day-to-day basis. What happens is, because the largest part of our facility is made up of trailers that we lease, by the way, from the company that owns them, the skirting has torn, and animals and rodents have accessed our building. These are issues every day, and my concern is the health and well-being of the men and women who protect the citizens of Raleigh every day. If you've been by the police department, the main facility is very small. We've run out of complete storage space for documents and evidence that we have to maintain. We can't get away from it. The district attorney's office has been consulted, and they say we can't get away with it. In preparation of this talk, I called up former Chief Kevin Barry, and Kevin Barry told me the need has existed since he became chief of police almost 40 years ago. I spoke with Chief Barker. Chief Barker told me on a daily basis he dealt with the frustrations of a building that is sick, a building that has outlived its usefulness. I understand, being a taxpayer, the burden on the citizens, but this is not a want, this is a need. And the police department facility, as you can see here, is not a Taj Mahal. It fits the basic needs of the Raleigh Police Department. It will do the job today, and it will facilitate the needs of the police department. We service this community, we service visitors to this community, and it's important that people who come into that facility, whether they're guests or whether they're incarcerated there, are safe, secure, and sound, and they're not exposed to health risks. It's also just as important that the people who work in that facility every day are not exposed to health risk. Like I said, the best view is the view of the tour that Lieutenant Stephen May put on that tour. That's available on the Raleigh Police Department official webpage. It's also available for you to see on the Raleigh Community Media. I'd urge you to take a visit to the police department, either with me or the incoming chief, Chief Scott Dumas, to take a real hard look at the facility. The need exists. The need is real. I'm asking you to help me and help the town protect the men and women who protect you and your families. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And I just want to emphasize, and when you look at the design drawings, and they'll be much more extensively available at future meetings, but we are completely reusing the current police station building. So although it looks entirely different on the drawings, we're not tearing it down, we're not disposing of it. It's going to be entirely reused with an addition added to it and then blend it all in to look like the facility that's been designed here. So with that, I'll ask Chief Jim Broderick from the Fire Department if he'd come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. My name is Jim Broderick. I'm the fire chief. I've been fire chief in town for the past 18 and a half years. This is our third attempt at going after a new facility in town. The mission of the fire department hasn't changed any. The current station that we have now, it was built in 3 phases. The original structure is from the late 1800s. It was moved to the current site on Hammond Street in the 30s. In the 40s, they added a bay and a hose tower to the building, and in 1964, the brick cinder block addition in the back was added. The department has grown a lot since 1964. The apparatus has grown a lot since 1964. And the mission of the department has changed a lot since the last addition was put on. Fires have gotten, they're a little bit less, but they've gotten more dangerous for the individual that's a firefighter. The makeup of our department is mainly call volunteer firefighters. They come from home to the calls, and then they go back to the home. So I want to talk about some of the deficiencies that I have in the building right now and why we need to really look at a new facility. One thing, we'll start with the easy one first, is storage. We don't have a lot. I have got equipment spread out all over town because I don't have a place to put it in a location that I can easily get to it. When we got the new ladder truck 2 years ago, it wouldn't fit in the building without some renovations inside. And we lost 2 storage areas and part of the kitchen to be able to back the new truck into the building. So what little storage I had, I've lost even more. So we basically got stuff laying wherever we can to put it where people can somewhat safely walk around it to get to the apparatus. The other problem we have is if you watch the Chronicle episode earlier in March, they dealt with firefighter cancer. And a lot of it is attributed to soot from fires. And that soot gets on the gear that we wear, the hoods that we wear, and our skin. We don't have any facilities in the building to take a shower, change clothes, clean our gear, clean our tools, or even clean the apparatus per se. We don't have that. And why is that a problem? Well, you have to get the stuff off the gear to get it clean because there's carcinogens in the soot. It does eventually affect the individual firefighter. So to have a washing system that we can wash our gear on a regular basis without going to neighboring towns would be beneficial. If we clean the gear, it'll last longer. Our firefighters will be less likely to get a nasty illness. And if they wash or shower after a call, the chances, again, decrease of them coming down with occupational cancer. We have 2 bathrooms, a men's and a woman's. It has a toilet and a sink. That's it. Can't take a shower. We can't change our clothes. We come back from a call. We're wet. We're soaked. We're bringing it home with us. And our families could become contaminated also with the nasty stuff that we deal with on a real daily basis. The other thing that we have is a lack of training space. Chris Nealon talked about the Pine Grove School becoming the community centerpiece. We used to do a lot of training down there at night. Night is a fairly large parking lot. We could put hose on the ground. We could practice laddering the building. With the school being used all the time, we can't do that anymore. So we have no place to practice or to train in some of the operations that we deal with. We used to use the churches, same thing. They're used a lot. We can't use them. So what do? Well, we close off the roadway between the parking lot behind the station and the post office so we can test hose, practice. We have no place to practice. Firefighting takes a lot of space, takes a lot of equipment. And if we don't practice with it, we don't become proficient in it. We need a location that will afford us adequate training facility. The new station will give us that opportunity to deal with stuff that we normally don't deal with now. Do routine maintenance on the apparatus. We can't do it in the station it is now. All our trucks, the cabs lift up. We don't have enough room inside to lift them up out inside, so we have to do it outside. And if you've been down to the fire station, there's not a lot of room down there. So it takes up space. We can't wash them. We wash them in the wintertime. Outside, it turns to ice. Becomes a safety issue. So with the new station, it will allow us an opportunity to be able to do maintenance on the trucks inside, and make it safer for the people doing work on the trucks. The other thing that it will give us is room to expand. Right now, we're busting at the seams down there. Our electrical system is inadequate too. We can't add any more circuits to our panels. Our plumbing is inadequate. Again, we can't add a washing machine, a shower facility. One, we don't have a place to put them. Two, the septic system can't handle it. The calls for the fire department have increased quite a bit since I've come to Rowley in 1997. We're not as busy as some places, but every year we increase our calls for service. What we need to do is increased. So we really need a place to get us into the next century, as it were, and to get a nice design here that we can expand into over the next quite a few years, way after I leave. You're more than welcome to come down, take a tour. We're planning on having an open house towards the end of April. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me. And thank you for your support.
Thank you, Chief. And just a brief, I just would like to reinforce what the Chief has said. The fire station was originally built in 1880, according to the assessor's record. It was built as a pool hall and not anything related to a garage facility. It's been given to the town and upgraded and updated. It's an old antique, literally an antique building. And it's a disgrace that this is our fire station for our town, that the apparatus is squeezed in there. You can't move in there. The wiring, if we were to have a short circuit in that wiring that's decades old, we'd lose the station and all the equipment before the first firefighter could get there if it happened after hours. If you watch the video, I encourage everyone to watch the video, especially of the fire department with Chief Broderick and Don Dupre, one of the call firefighters, put together. It's an eye-opening. And one of the things they show is downstairs in the basement, the lally columns about every 3 feet to provide support so the floor doesn't collapse. If we lose a fire engine, the building will be shut down. So this building is desperate, and as the Chief said, this is the third time we've gone for this. We really can't put it off any longer. At some point, there's going to be a disaster down there. One of the firefighters is going to get seriously hurt in the fire station, let alone at the scene of a disaster. So I encourage people to watch those videos. They're available on the town website. They're available on the cable television channels, and they're available to be watched at your leisure. So especially watch the fire department. With that in mind, our last speaker is Greg Corral. He's the designer of he was hired by the Board of Selectmen last year to design the police and fire station facility. He's going to give you a brief rundown of what he's found and what he's done, and he will be the last speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. I'm Greg Carrell, president of the Carrell Group Architects, and we were given a mission to deal with the public safety needs for the town of Rowley. The mission involved basically three things. Address the functional needs of the departments, provide buildings and facilities that answered the needs of fire and police, buildings that were economical to build and operate, and finally buildings that fit the character of the town. Functionality, I think you've heard from Chief Mulligan and Chief Broderick what the problems are, and the design that we have developed with them addresses those needs. Specifically with the police department, we provided administration and office space. We provided space for patrol functions and the detectives department. We have provided training space. We provided storage that's sorely necessary, and at the same time provided a building that has security and privacy, which are two very pivotal things that are required in police operations. With the fire department, again, we've dealt with provided office space, of which there virtually isn't any right now. We've dealt with decontamination, which, as Chief Broderick said, is a serious issue. We provide cruise quarters, male and female facilities, and adequate apparatus space. Being able to, as he said, maintain vehicles within the garage and having enough space to move the vehicles in and out. Having to buy specialized equipment, vehicles that are modified so they'll fit in a building, or vehicles that are losing their side view mirrors because they whack the doors as they go out, is an unacceptable situation. So in this new building will solve those problems. We also have provided some other things: secure, protected turnout gear storage. Turnout gear, the boots and coats and helmets that the firefighters use, surprisingly enough, is very susceptible to fumes, sunlight, and the like. We have places to store and protect and maintain this very expensive equipment. Probably one of the more pivotal issues is the economy of this. And we've answered that, we've dealt with that in a number of ways. First of all, they're no-frills facilities. These buildings are answering the needs of the departments, period. They are not Taj Mahals. They are very modest. They are not too small. They're not facilities that are going to be too small the day you move in. They will provide for some future flexibility, but they are nothing more than the town will require. We are reusing the existing police station, as was mentioned, the dispatch area, the detention area, the basement area, which will house an armory, evidence storage, and record storage, are all going to remain intact. These are functions that will not have to be replicated in a new building or a new space. One of the other things is both of these buildings will stay in operation during construction. Certainly, the fire station will stay in operation in the center of town as a new building is constructed on the site next to the police station. So when that building is finished, the fire department will move in one piece. Likewise, with the police station, the existing temporary buildings that are there will remain, and the addition to the police station that we're proposing will happen on the other side of the building. When that is complete, those temporary buildings will be torn down, and the new part of the building will be occupied. This is important because if you have to provide temporary quarters during construction, the cost will increase dramatically. And finally, we're looking at building these buildings at the same time. If one follows the other, the construction period is going to extend dramatically, and any time a construction schedule is extended, it costs money. It costs money in overhead, it costs money in supervision, and it's just more money that a contractor will be seeking. So this is a much more efficient way of doing it. The bottom line will be lower. And finally, fitting the character of the town of Raleigh. It's a traditional New England building, both of them. They are designed to be compatible with one another. And I think they're buildings that we hope and feel that the town will be proud to have.
Thank you, Greg. I just want to compliment him for the work that his firm, it's Carell Associates, it's a small firm. They specialize in police and fire station facilities. They've been super to work with, cooperating with the Board of Selectmen, the police chief, the fire chief. They've been just fantastic, and we emphasize with them the need to make an attractive building. And I think if you look at this building, I think these two buildings will fit very well in the neighborhood up where the current police station is. And he's done a great job of making them efficient, effective, and we want to thank him and his firm for the work that they've done. I just want to wrap this up by saying, talk about costs for a second. When we discuss costs, like I say, with the school building, we'll be looking to borrow $800,000. There'll be some temporary borrowing there, so we're guessing that it might be $25 on the tax rate after the first year to pay for some the interest cost. Ultimately, if the whole building process goes through, that $800,000 will be reimbursed at 50% or 48% from the state, and it'll be rolled into the final loan so that it's whatever the loan is for the cost to do that building. The school building, understand that most of those kids that are in the Pine Grove School at the moment aren't going to see a new school building. The school building is a long process. If we get the money now, we will start the design and feasibility study, which is what we did last year with the police department. We need to start that with the school. That's going to probably take a year. Whenever that's done, we'll be looking for funding, and then the design portion, the detailed designs and architectural needs and construction process may take 2 or 3 years. So we're probably looking at the school for a completion of 3 to 5 years. And at the same time, the increase in taxes associated with that are not going to hit us until 3, 4, 5 years down the road, because normally if you borrow this year, we don't start paying those costs back until next year. So keeping that in mind. As far as the police and fire station facility, we're looking to borrow $11,700,000. Sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. It's going to cost each one of us, and most of us here, or at least half of us, are residents of the town, so we're paying the same increase in taxes. Looking at that question, if it passes for $11.7 million, it won't be on the tax rate probably it won't be next year, it'll be the year after it'll first show up. To borrow $11.7 million, we're talking about a cost of, let me get my glasses. Sorry about that. Thought I could see more than I could see. It'd be a 20-year bond. It would cost approximately $361 per household if your valuation of your house is $415,000. If your house is valued at more than that, then it's going to be more than $361,000. If it's less than that, you'll be paid less. You can figure this out on your own by multiplying the cost of 87 cents, 0.87 times whatever the valuation is of your property on the tax rate. So you can figure out pretty close to exactly what this would cost you. The Board of Selectmen, and we look at this as an investment. We're not looking at this, it's a cost, and we understand that it's going to be tough on people to have their taxes increased, but this is really an investment for the town, and it's an investment for the future. And it's been all these projects, as everybody here has stated, these projects have been tried many, many times over many years, and they've always gotten defeated. Well, every time they get defeated, they cost more money for the new construction costs. The police and fire facility a few years back was going to cost us $6 million. Now, more or less the same facility is going to cost us $11 million. So keep in mind that it's easy to say no, but we have to provide these facilities. Currently, we pay rent to the Fire Association of $9,000 per year. We pay $24,000 a year for those rented trailer-type buildings at the police station. So there's money that we can use. Every time you put new buildings up, we know there's going to be increased cost for electricity and utilities and heat and so on and so forth. Well, that money that we're currently paying in rent could easily and more than adequately cover increased costs to run these buildings. So I would urge you all to, take a look at this video and think long and hard. Go to the town's website, towno'Reilly.org, to view the individual videos of the police that the police and fire have put together. We have more detailed drawings of the construction project. We're going to be presenting on the last Monday in April. We'll have a meeting up here in which we'll make another presentation when we have the pre-town meeting in which we encourage people to come, and hopefully they've looked at the videos and be able to ask questions. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to call the Selectman's office at 948-2372. The fire station is always open during the business hours. And as long as they're in the station, they'll be more than happy to give you a personal tour of the fire station. Police station obviously has security concerns, so if you would like to take a look at that, give them a call, and I'm sure they'll make arrangements for you to view it. So, based on that, we don't come here very often looking for this kind of money. The buildings we're dealing with, like I say, very briefly, the school was built originally in 1954, renovated in 1988 to 1990. The police station was built in 1985. So with the trailers added in later on, so that we're dealing with old buildings. The fire station speaks for itself. 1880 it was constructed, and it's totally inadequate and a disaster waiting to happen. So I thank you for watching. I would encourage you to attend the May 2nd town meeting and also vote at the May 10th town election. So I thank you once again for watching. I thank all the panelists who took the time to be here. And I hope that we've given you enough information to seriously consider voting to vote for these projects. Thank you very much.